Morning guys, and welcome to another section of Motion Mag. This month we've decided to bring you folks out to Leisure Isle on the low tide for a bit of bait collecting. Most paramount thing here really is to remember to always bring your bait license with you. You have to be in possession of a valid bait license in your name. It's a very popular area to collect bait for the simple reason that it's accessible by car. You can drive in, stop up here, take a walk out and pretty much collect quite a few different species of bait. Right guys, here's the polychaete hole. Okay, that's the chappie there, sitting right there. That's how you identify them. You'll often also see the poly's little tentacles coming out the front. He's investigating if there's any food out there. That's a little, now the way we go about doing this is you've got your little hook on the wire. You're gonna line it up with the hole. When you go in, don't hesitate, push it in, not too fast. You know, you wanna go in fast enough, but if you push in too fast, you might also find that the wire starts kinking, bending. The minute you hit the bottom of the hole, don't force it. And it's literally just a bit of a turning motion. The minute you'll feel when you've actually hooked that worm, and then it's a very gentle, straightforward pulling motion to get the worm out. It's going to take a bit of practice, but honestly, it's not rocket science, and it's relatively easy to do. Okay, so I have a squiz down here, and we're going to go in. We'll see if anyone's home here. As I said, we go in, we feed it down. It's still going nicely. It hasn't blocked yet. It's still going there. It's stopped. Right, I've hit the bottom of the hole. I'm going to start twisting. Get a few twists in it. We go, guys. Right guys, there's the polychaete moonshine worm. That's the average size. I don't want them much smaller than that. Bigger is always a pleasure. You've got to watch out. The only thing with these chappies, they won't lurch out and grab your finger, but they've got quite a vicious little pair of pinchers, right? Oh, you see, there it comes. There they are. That's quite a vicious little pair of pinchers coming out there, and they'll probably draw a bit of blood. So be careful, you know, if you are handling them, be careful of this business in there. Oh, he wants to nip me. So yeah, that's a poly. I'm gonna pull a couple more. You guys can have a look. You'll see it's got loads of little legs down the side, a bit like a centipede. That just basically says to me that it's family of the polychaete. You know, you get various species. You get the moonshine, you get your coral worm, you get fan worm. They're all pretty much abundant in our area. But for the lagoon, this is going to be my bait of preference. These also salt really well. So if you get a couple and you're not fishing immediately, I do like to actually salt them up a bit, roll them in newspaper and freeze them in a Tupperware container. They freeze really well, and they obviously become a lot tougher and easier to put on the hook. So a really good bait for the estuary, guys. Right, I think Rob's just about ready to start showing us a couple of bloodworm. So I'm gonna hand you over to him, and then we're gonna move on to a sandworm or two. Right.
How's it, guys? Okay, as Richard has said, we're showing you how to get some bait today. He's just got a moonshine worm there for you. I'm going to demonstrate to you how to get a bloodworm. If you have a look down on the ground here, the first thing you look for is a blowhole. This here is called a blowhole. As you'll see, if you look around here, we'll show you just now, they're more easily distinguishable than the actual place where you're going to pump, which I'll show you now. The blowhole. If you look over here, there's a little perfect concave, which is linked obviously to this blowhole. You want to pump it in that little depression, and you'll feel it'll always be quite soft in that depression. You want to keep your pump at an angle slightly towards the blowhole which you're pumping to. And then now let's see if there's one home. Good bait. Good bait for pretty much any fish out in the sea. You get your grunters, tiambras, carp, small fish, anything you'll catch on bloodworm. It's called the sandworm. If you'll have a look over here, that's what you're pretty much looking for, is just a little mound of sand. I mean, there's lots of little mounds of sand around here, but eventually you'll pick out the right ones, and you'll see it. Preferably, it mustn't have a hole in the top. It must just be a plain little mound of sand. And you want to pump down, not about a whole pump, about a 3/4 pump depth down. And you want to stick your hand down, and you've got to feel around the outside edges of the hole until you get a hold of him, and then it's actually easier to have someone with you. We'll show you now how to get them out. You can do it on your own, but you're going to be doing a lot of digging with your hands, and your fingers are going to be raw from being cut by shells and stuff. So let's have a look. Have to be careful of when you do this while you're digging around the inside of this hole is obviously there's lots of little shells and sharp stuff that can cut your hands. So it's gonna happen, but rather be on the careful side, and obviously you won't find one in every hole either. And you won't be able to very often pull this worm out, then you'll end up breaking it. That's why when you two guys, you feel which way the worm's going. Which is going this way. There's a pump there. Then you just keep pulling ahead of it. And you'll feel when he gets close to the worm with a pump, you must tell him to stop. Sometimes they can be very confusing as to which direction they're actually going in. Sometimes they head down, and that's the problem.
As you can see, this is not the easiest worm to take out by yourself, and I'd suggest you don't, because as Robin said, all that's going to happen is you're going to break it. Here we go. Sandworm.
Extremely tough customer.
Incredibly tough worm. You like that color, don't you?
Oh, they're brown ones.
You often get them quite like a mother of pearl, white, grey. This is what we call the sort of like the yellow worms. Robin prefers these. He's had really good success on them. He's caught a lot of fish on them. So that's a whole sandy, guys. You can almost see where Robin had it by the tail. He's kind of squashed it a little bit. And there we go. There's a lighter coloured one we just got out a minute or so ago. So you can see the difference in colour between those two worms. Quite a prolific colour difference. And as I said, Rob's had better success on the darker worm, so he prefers that one. I'm not too phased. To me, a sandworm's a sandworm. And that there, 99% of the time, is a big white steambros right there. Great bait.